Live from Studio 9, get your half-price Jason Ackermanis while stocks last. It's the Footy Show. Please welcome Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw.
Clean to get through tonight. The coaching talk has dominated proceedings for a couple of months. Only one job to be filled, of course. The North Melbourne Footy Club appointing Brad Scott to the position as head coach. He's going to join us live in the studio tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I'm especially looking forward to that, Gary. Now, I'll tell you what else is Richmond not far away from an announcement on their coach, and we understand in an inner-city location, 3 hours, Ken Hinkley is into his final interview, and Hutchie knows where it is, and he is locked out the front. Yes. So we're going to have the absolute latest on that some stage tonight.
Plenty of other news too concerning the Hawthorn Footy Club. Just wait for that one. Lots of retirements too. It's that time of the year, and it's a big time for an AFL footy player when they retire from AFL football. The emotional time is when they speak to the players, and our cameras caught that actual moment when Russell Robinson had to tell the Melbourne Footy Club that he was retiring. Very emotional stuff in the inner sanctum.
Another man who's emotional, ladies and gentlemen, is Bill Brownless. Because he was ridiculed in federal parliament. It is some of the most unbelievable vision we've ever heard. A man stood up and made fun of Bill, and he is not happy about it.
No, he's not. He's going to have his right of reply here on the Footy Show tonight. So, yes, very serious Bill Brownless you're going to see. Brendan and Alex Favola are going to be here as well. Alex got a new book out. Yes. And, of course, Sam Newman Street Talk down at St Kilda. Lots to get through, so let's jump straight into it. Selection news too, some really good stories, two big inclusions for both Hawthorn and Richmond. We'll get to those very shortly. Before we do, this man's had a big week. He's always had a big week. The 300-game superstar of the Geelong Football Club, John Sammy Newman. Daniel, how are you?
Last week, Gary, I don't think I've been more annoyed, and I did say to you, I've had several chats to you, I'm not sure what influence I have here, and I'm not sure what influence you have here, but I think I'm about to put it to the test. We are going to, I know you think I'm joking.
I don't.
We're going to withdraw Shane Crawford's commission.
Why?
Because he's a dickhead, that's why. Greg Hoy, who did this wonderful operation on me carpal tunnel.
Yes.
He said he just shuddered when he saw me actually wince because undid all the good work he did. And Shane throwing eggs at us, unannounced and unplanned and unscripted.
There it is. This is it last night. I was disgusted when he did this. That was a lack of respect, I thought. I wasn't happy with it.
No. Oh, well, no, you're with me. So respect is all we require, Gary. And I am serious. We could have him sacked.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He's on this new program, Money for Jam or Money for Shit or whatever it's called. He's on about 8 different programs. He's on the radio. We could well do without him.
He's on shaky ground.
He's on shaky ground, Gary. Well, why don't you do something
I'm with
about
you.
it?
I'll back you up. Whatever you want to do,
water.
I think you need to get over yourself, Fossil. This has been sent from Denise from Pakenham. Thank you, Denise, who says, so, this is about last week's show. Sam Newman wants someone sacked for caking him with food, does he? Has the cranky old fart forgotten what he did to David Schwartz all those years ago? Maybe the Botox has finally seeped into his brain cavity. There we are.
reasonable point.
Patrick Voss from Melbourne also writes, it seems the cream pie Voss can dish it out, but he can't take it.
It's a reasonable point.
No, it's a reasonable point. Well, let's put him on probation then. Well, we put him on probation.
Well, you can.
I mean, if you're going to drag stuff out from 10 years ago, mate, I mean, the times have moved on. We're all more responsible and we're a little more sensible these days. And we just can't put up with that. Yeah. People look at that and people go out in the streets and they start egging cars and egging people on the street because of the influence of so-called role models.
The thing about it is, both you and I had to wear a bit of it, but one of the three didn't, Samuel.
That's correct.
Yes.
That could well be Jim there.
Yes.
That could... It looks about as vacant as you look, anyhow. At some stage, Jimmy boy, at some stage, I think...
yeah, I think it's fair.
I think it's fair.
What's fair?
I think that you'll get it smacked all over that...
Samuel.
Yeah.
I assure you that won't happen.
But I'll tell you, I'll tell you it's going to happen, unlike Shane, who just came out here and just goes whack. So I'll give you a fair warning. That is going to happen before the show's over.
That happened last week, and we've got a saying on the Footy Show, Sam. What happened on last week's show stays on last week's show.
That could well be your saying, Jim, but I'm telling you now. You just keep an eye on that little fella there, and suddenly when you see him not in his little perch, you'll wonder where he is.
All right, let's get the panel out here, and I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with the most recognised footballer in the AFL, the superstar from Punt Road's with us, Matthew Richardson. And from the all-conquering Bombers, Mark Spike McVeigh. And finally, the all-round good guy from Geelong, Billy Brownless. Hello.
Welcome, boys. Lovely to have you here. Bill, looking forward to hearing from you. It was disgraceful what happened to you in federal parliament through the week, and I know you're not happy, so just sit tight. We'll give you an opportunity to say your piece. But, Richo, first of all, sitting in the grandstand last week, mate, watching the Tigers play the old Magpies and erupted there at one stage. What were you feeling sitting out there?
Yeah, it was pretty ordinary. Probably one of the worst performances we've put in for a couple of years, which was very disappointing for the club and especially for Jade, who's been working really hard to change the way we're going about things. And, yeah, there was a few willing moments, a couple of melees, but really, what can you do in modern football? No one gets hurt. It's just a bit of jumper pulling and shoving. There's not much going on there.
What do you think about the comments of the Collingwood captain, Nick Maxwell, Richo, who said that you were nice and tough, your team, when this was happening, but when it came to sticking your head over the ball, it was a different story?
Oh, look, I reckon Nick, probably 5 minutes after he said that, he probably would have regretted it. I don't think he would have... been too happy with what he said, but one of the melees actually started because Mark Coughlin put his head over the ball and got a free kick, and that's one of the melees. So, yeah, I think Nick probably just got a bit carried away, and I don't think he probably should have said it.
Do you ever watch the show when you're not on it? Are you... Melee, it's a French word. We discussed French last week. Melee, that's the... French word de jour of the day, melee.
You're a very, very intelligent man, Foss, aren't you?
Well, we had a discussion last week about papier-mâché, and everyone said, oh, it's paper-mâché, and silly Shane, whose brain weighs as much as a butterfly wing, said, oh, papier-le pew. But that's what it is. It's the French word of the day, melee, and... it means to scramble in milieu. And it could mean, we've also saw in the melee here, we saw these people here. We did see these people here.
The photo?
Yeah, the photo of these people here.
You've got it there, Foss.
Have I got it here? Yep, no, I have too. This here is a photo of a melee. Oh. That is another French word. That is another French word called a ménage de trois. And that means Spike. That means going for it, a ménage de trois. Have you ever had the fortune to be in it?
No, I haven't.
As Woody Allen said, sex between two people is great. And between 5 people, it's fantastic. But that is, of course, risque, which is another French word. And so the whole English language is littered with French words. Why would we be taking any notice of the frogs who eat smelly cheese and slugs and snails? Why would we be taking any notice of them? I don't know. But
Gary,
anyhow, that's it. That's what a melee is, Bill.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew, what is it, La Trois? The
Menage de
Menage à Trois.
Means a threesome, Bill.
I know, a threesome. Richo?
Incidentally, I reckon your brother's here.
Have we asked Richo about his injury and things?
Well, you can. We only really ask him if anything's changed. And he's been operated on.
Not allowed
No,
to
don't
talk
ask him.
about Richmond.
No, I'm allowed to talk about Richmond.
What about Ken Hinkley or Hardwick? Who would you like?
No, I'm not allowed to talk about that. No, I'm still injured and I'll probably be injured for a bit longer. And the new coach will decide whether I stay injured or play on, I guess. So we're looking forward to finding out, though. It's been a long process and I think we're getting pretty close to a result.
Gone all Miami Vice, these two on us, Gary. Spike and Richo. Just got the little fungus on the face. What's going on there? You getting...
Oh, look, I was in the makeup room before and one of the girls wanted to take it off. She wasn't too happy with it and it's looking pretty patchy from what I've just seen down there. So.
Well, I always swarthy Mark McVeigh, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have the Essendon here. On the back. On the back, Gary, of the win of the century against the undefeated Saints, and I think you started at about $7.50. It was quite an incredible performance. Give us your thoughts right here, please.
Yeah, well, I think we're all just having a look at the ball drop of Nick Riewoldt, and I think as soon as he dropped it a little bit to the side, we knew that it wasn't going to go through, but big pressure situation for him. It was a tough kick, and we were fortunate enough to hang on and have a great win.
7 goals you got out to at some stage there, Spike. What happened in the last quarter? I know you had a lot of blokes injured on the bench, so that has an impact, but was it you just tiring?
Yeah, I think so, and I think they're a great side as well. They really willed themselves to the football and won a lot of centre clearances, which we probably beat them over the first 3 quarters. But to their credit, they come right back, and they're going to be even tougher to beat now, I think, after that. And I think in 2000, Essendon lost a game and set themselves up for a grand final win, and I'm sure they'll be able to do the same thing.
Spoke about retirements too. Scotty Lucas, of course, has retired, which is on the back of a magnificent career. I think that's worthy of a round of applause. Scotty Lucas. We're particularly interested in Matthew Lloyd's words when he was asked about it. And Lloyd, he said it could be 2 more weeks or it could be 12 months. So where does it sit now with a few of those veterans? I guess because that win was on the back of some fantastic youngsters, which empowers Matty Knights if that's the path he wants to go down.
Yeah, I think with Scotty, marvellous career, 270 games and nearly 500 goals, and it was disappointing. Probably couldn't get a game to see him off, but Nida was open and honest with him and felt he wasn't in our best 22. With Lloydie, I think where it sits at the moment is that he's been offered a 1-year deal. He will sit down at the end of the year with the coach and really nut that out. I think, Robert Harvey signed, I think, something like 6 1-year deals at the end of his career. And Lloydie has been offered a contract and, we'll sit down with everyone and go through it.
The captaincy? Yes. Lloydie, will he be, if he plays next year, be captain?
At this stage, I think he would be, yes.
If he plays next year, he will be, Bill.
Not necessarily.
Why wouldn't you? Why would you?
He might say, I'll hand it on to someone else, but I'll play and just guide him through it.
Oh,
Who would be a better candidate?
Oh, Frothy's McVeigh.
that's my point. Who would be?
Frothy's here.
Well, besides Frothies, who would be the next candidate?
Joe Watson.
Right.
No, tell me.
Beside old Pissy Pants.
I don't think you... If you got one, who would be the next candidate?
That's what I'm saying. Who would be better than him?
No, I think Joe Watson. Watson would be a
That's
fantastic
fine.
captain.
We're not interested in what you think. He was asking me.
Yeah, but you're not giving an answer.
Well, I said, why would Matthew Lloyd
You're
relinquish
answering
the
the question with
captaincy?
a question.
Who would be better? Is
He
my
only knows
point.
2 Essendon players.
He asked you.
Anyhow, I tell you who would have laughed
Jeff.
their tits off you when Nick Riewoldt missed the goal. You would have laughed because you wouldn't have kicked that in a month of Sundays. And you, Spike, and I reckon Nick Riewoldt is just the best.
Magnificent.
But you said wasn't a difficult shot. All he had to do was just kick the ball
No,
straight.
I said the situation was difficult.
No, it wasn't. That's the
How
trouble.
many goals did you kick after the siren?
Who, me? Oh, we got that.
Anyhow,
Can we call for that?
No, we wouldn't.
I once again, when I took Matthew out to the Punt Road Oval, I went out.
There's a lot of pressure in that kick. A lot of people watching.
Well, we had the cameras on me, and I had to do it first up, Spike, from 40 metres.
With a lot. You know, you had a lot to lose with that kick, didn't you? If you missed that, you would have just said, "Oh, well, Sammy missed it. Big deal." So what?
I didn't miss it though. I got it first up, straight through the centre. Look at you, you can't get the grin off your face.
When we rocked up, you said from 40 metres, you had one kick and couldn't make the distance, so we had to make it look like 40.
Matthew, it didn't matter how close we got. The first time you kicked it, you put it out in the full, and that is a fact. Didn't matter how close
Who won
we
at
were.
the end, though, Foss?
What?
I won in the end, though, didn't I?
Oh, only because you're about 30 years younger and you're actually still playing. Anyhow, Matthew...
Leave it there. We're just going to leave that there because I know you've got something coming up a little bit later, which is a little bit special. But what we want to do now is, I occasionally, Foss, sit at home during the day when I get a spare minute. I like to watch Parliamentary Question Time.
Yeah, that's all you ever do.
No, I do.
Sit at home
I
during the
was
day.
absolutely stunned and disgusted when I saw this on behalf of my very good friend. I don't know how many people caught this, but this is Lindsay Tanner, who's the Minister for Finance and Deregulation. Have a listen to this.
The member for North Sydney is the Billy Brownless of Australian politics, Mr Speaker. All joviality and jokes and buffoonery, but you wouldn't put him in charge of anything. You wouldn't actually put him in charge of anything serious, any responsibility, Mr Speaker.
That's a disgrace, Bill.
Was that in actual Parliament?
Yes, it was.
It's quite an honour, Gary, to be brought up in Parliament.
No, well, it is, but I mean, he was just ridiculing you in front of the country's leaders.
Yeah.
Ridiculing you.
Did you see Julia Gillard there just laughing? The ranger?
You can't call the Deputy Prime Minister a ranger. You cannot do that.
Bill.
She's only acting. She only acts occasionally. She's not the Prime Minister.
Hey, Bill, what about the three Sydney blokes on the other side? It made a big impact on them. They're looking ahead going, who? Bill,
If
you
they would have
shouldn't
seen
put up
James
with that.
Brayshaw, they would, oh, yeah, shit, we know him.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. You shouldn't put up with that, Bill.
Anything you want to say?
Yes. Can I...
Write a reply,
Write a
Bill.
reply,
Yeah.
that's what I need.
Righto.
Righto, we ready?
Yes.
Dogs! Dogs! Come on, dogs! Here we go, you ready? Good work, dogs. Get up here.
Stewie's made another appearance.
Order. Order. The honourable member from Geelong.
Order.
Thank you.
The honourable member for Geelong.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I would like to respond to the honourable member for Melbourne on behalf of myself and my constituents. Mr Speaker,
Constituents.
though he may be the incumbent Minister for Finance and Deregulation, travelling well, aren't we? We're 300 billion in debt at the minute. I do not believe such
Provocative.
Indium belongs under the sitting member's jurisdiction. Or to put it another way, Mr Speaker, he's full of shit.
Here, here. Order.
Order.
If I could paraphrase the great Gough Whitlam, God save the Prime Minister, because nothing's going to save Lindsay Tanner when I go up there and grab him by the knackers. But Mr Speaker,
Order.
I refuse to stoop to his level. Hang on. Kiss my big fat hairy ass, Tanner!
Point of order.
I think that's fair enough.
Point of order.
They speak with parliamentary privilege.
They do,
The
and-
Bill's come out and just said it as it is.
Just an apology would be good, Linz, that's all.
And one for the acting Prime Minister. Or
I like Julia.
I like Julia.
You'd like Julia? Yeah, I bet you would.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of Julia Gillard, Wilbur, she does love the Western Bulldogs, and they are appearing on Friday night against the Cats at Etihad Stadium. This is going to be a disposal-a-thon. Teams ranked 1 and 2 in the comp for disposals. Last time they met, Brad Johnson missed a shot after the siren to win the match, of course. Daniel Gian, Syracusa and Sean Higgins, massive ins for the Dogs. Williams and Wood come out as we swing across to the Cats for the 7th week in a row. The Cats, Sam, had more kicks than handballs, would please you. Their last 3 wins have been by a total of 8 points combined. Coming in for the Cats, have listened to this. Wojcinski, Rook, Milburn, Gamble and Chapman. Out go Lonergan, Hogan, Johnson, Harley and Varco. And before we get the boys' thoughts, congratulations to Cameron Ling, who plays game number 200, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking, Bill, of Julia Gillard.
Yes. Western Bulldogs, very good last week. They had some injuries there and going well. Harbrow's doing a great job down back there, and interested to see Jerry and Syracusa back, but no Otten still. I thought they might have played big Brad Ottens, but still not there. You'd think the Cats would do it for Cameron Ling, so the Cats just...
a bit shaky, the Cat is.
Yeah, just not travelling it, but you don't want it. You've got a couple of weeks to lead into the finals,
Is Tom
Gaz.
Harley being dropped, or is he
General soreness, Gaz.
So he's been dropped? He
General
hasn't got a match-up at the Western Bulldogs?
Oh, no, there'd be someone there, but he's just got general soreness, that's all.
All right, who's going to win there, Spike?
Well done to Moons. Good New South Wales boy, 200 games. And speaking to Bill...
It's Cameron Ling, idiot.
Is it Ling, is it?
Yeah. Come on, Frothies.
Frothies, yeah. No, but talking to Bill out the back, I don't think... You said Geelong are a bit wobbly, so I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Richo?
Yeah, I think the Cats can get up, Bill, but it's a bit of a concern. Stevie Johnson, finals just around the corner. Is he right, or what's...
No, he's not. That's why he's not playing. Just got a bit of a problem with the hip groin type.
Will he get it right for the finals? Or?
You'd think so.
Yeah, you're his mentor. You are his mentor. This is serious. You do speak to him nearly every day. He dines with you regularly. Tell us what's going on with Steve Johnson, please.
Had some of Nicky's cooking and just struggling there a bit. I didn't need it either. No, he's just groin, hip, around that region, Gaz, and...
he missed a month, came back and played for a couple of weeks, he's out again.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, it's not good, but give him this week off and then hopefully plays next week.
Why don't you get hands-on with it, Bill, and try and fix it for him? You'd love to.
I did. And he went off.
Who's winning, Foss?
Well, I think Geelong are doing a very wise thing, resting those boys. I don't care what you call it, general soreness, omitted, whatever. They're just resting all those boys, getting ready. They can't go out a second, and they're getting through to the finals with the best available personnel. And it's very wise what they're doing, and I think Footscray might roll them. Because it won't matter.
All right, and the Bulldogs re-signed 9 players through the week, which is fantastic, but not Brian Lake. So that's
What's going on there, Gaz, with Brian Lake?
Oh, I don't think he's getting a massive amount of money as it stands. He might be the All-Australian defender, so he probably wants a bit more. I'm not sure whether they've got it, but he's a very important player. I think the Dogs might beat Geelong as well on Friday night in a tight one. We're going to go to break. Sam's mailbag, Brad, Scott, Hutchie, all still to come on the Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. And our very great appreciation to Crazy Johns and Carlton Natural Blonde for their support right throughout this year. Just a reminder, we've got Street Talk from Ackland Street in St Kilda, which is fantastic. Hutchie's not far away. Brad Scott as well, the coach of North Melbourne. But now it's time for Sam's mailbag.
Now, just before we get on to the mailbag, I was down in Tasmania. They love us down in Tasmania, I guess. And a man bought this... The man bought this an auction. He couldn't find my name on it, so I'm just telling him that because it was framed like that, he thought he'd been shortchanged. My name is on the back. That's where it is there, but you'd have to unframe it. Yeah. He was searched all over for it and...
Couldn't get it on the front.
I'm only just showing him that Tasmanian...
It's actually not, Sam.
What?
They did that one because that's yours, but you're actually on the seams.
On the seams, am I?
Yeah. On the seams. Down near the arse.
I reckon Lindsay Tanner's got a fair point.
Lindsay Tanner, fair enough.
From Pip of Morwell. Fossil. Pip, a bit of respect. Fossil, you started that business, Fossil. Fossil, you remind me of my dad. You also remind me of a spineless parameseum, in that I completely despise you. Now, do you know what a parameseum is, Spike?
No.
Well, it's a microscopic aquatic organism. And they're widespread in freshwater environments and are especially common in scum. That's what it is. However, she says, that's just a backhanded compliment. Yeah, that's
Backhanded compliment.
Yeah. However, in the episode last week, you stated that it was papier-mâché. Here we go again. And I happen to know you are correct. I'm only 29 years old, left school at 15, and even I think that the youth of today have no idea about anything or are even educated. Gary, she might do mailbag next week. She seems to have a handle on it. But I did go home and I did do a bit of papier-mâchéing, and I thought and I did that, and the only thing... Now, the last time we stapled someone's head to a dummy, we got in a lot of trouble. The only thing to scale there is Shane's teeth. They are far too big for his head. Why has he got them so big? Tombstones.
Very nice.
Look like piano keys. Hey, and I reckon if you rattle, you can hear his brain. And when he comes in later, we'll shake him and see if we can hear it. So we'll just leave that there. That's you and Bill and Shane there. I'll put that down there. You just look at that. That'll amuse you. This is from Leone. Leone of Stonehaven. Dear Sam. Well, it wouldn't be that Leone, or she wouldn't be calling me Dear Sam. You arsehole. A couple of weeks ago at a local footy match, I found myself sitting directly behind Bill Brownless. Well, Leone, everyone was sitting behind Bill Brownless. Whilst I don't mind Billy that much, I did find sitting behind him a little distasteful, to be honest. I was wondering if you could please pass on the enclosed gaffer tape to him to stop the next person having to put up with what I had to put up with. All right, well, I'll give you the gaffer tape, Bill. Here it is here. Right. This is the gaffer tape. Yes.
What do I do?
I'm getting instructions from Leone here, like what's changed. I see. It's not for your mouth, Bill. It's for that. I see. Isn't that a crisp one, Gary?
The old plumbers.
Yeah.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, found smuggling 8 pounds of crack through the airport. Yeah, that's right. Shh. Right. Now, this is from Carla of Toorak. Hello.
Oh.
Carla of Toorak. I didn't know anyone in Toorak watched the show. I don't think it's that Carla, though, because it's spelt with a K. Maybe it's Koala. Mr. Newman, not even dear Mr. Newman, who made you such an authority on the English language? I recall you once saying, I brought this to your attention. Bought being to buy and brought being to bring. It's incorrect. And so is that. You left the apostrophe out of IT''S. It is incorrect. You just put it. Also, stop telling people how to pronounce the 8th letter of the alphabet. Well, here we go again, Gary. I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Protestant, a Catholic. I don't care if you're a Ranger or who you are. The 8th letter of the alphabet is pronounced H. And if you say H, you are patently ignorant, because it is incorrect. Doesn't matter where you were brought up or who told you or who you were schooled by, H is how you pronounce that letter.
Sleep well tonight.
Yeah, written in a reasonably familiar hand. That
just like you imbecile Bill, would say it's a blue ribbon event. It's a blue riband event.
No.
And you would say one foul swoop. It's one fell swoop. Just common things that the English language has to deal with. Idiosyncrasies.
Blue ribbon.
What?
Blue ribbon.
Blue riband it is.
It's not riband. That's stupid. That's old hat.
It's pointless, isn't it?
Yes.
So there we are. So that a familiar hand, was
I
it,
thought
Jim?
it was written in a familiar hand.
No, it wasn't. Now, this is from Karen.
H.
What?
H.
That's right. Do you say H?
H.
You say H, do you? Yeah. Why do you... A bull wouldn't have told you to say H.
I'm from Tasmania and it's H.
I bet your old man, he would belt the living suitcase out of you if you said H.
No, he wouldn't. Why would he do that?
Because it's wrong.
It's not. How do you know it's
Snot. It's snot.
Yeah.
How do I know? Well, you look up the dictionary and see
Have you
how...
had a new rinse through that crop up there? It's looking
The dictionary tells you how to say it, does it?
He looks like Harry and the Hendersons. You look like that bloody... big monkey. Karen of Wallen, dear Sam. Spike.
Yes.
I'm writing in because I agree wholeheartedly with Gary Lyon. You had a hide criticising that couple in the wedding photo last week. Did you criticise me for that?
You did, yes.
Those porkers.
Yeah, no.
Hey, just incidentally, fat people in reality shows, it's just not interesting, it's not funny, it's not entertaining, they look like crap. Can we get some decent-looking people on some shows for once?
Including the Footy show.
Yeah. Just because they are happy with the way they look and you are so desperately unhappy with your looks, how many visits to the plastic surgeon is it now? You are looking more and more like a squirrel every week.
Delicious.
Well, Sarah of Queensland, she is. That's Karen. Oh, Sarah of Queensland, on the other hand, sent in another couple. This is some more people that they've sent in. Now, just tell me. I'm going to show you this. I don't think they live in Australia, so I think we're pretty safe in saying this. Imagine these people climbing into the Onkaparinkas.
Oh, come on.
Would they breed mutants?
Mutants.
Oh. Spike,
Yep.
what would that man see in that woman?
Oh, what would she
A
see
lot.
in him?
Well, and that's how frisky he is. She's gone the grope early. She looks like she's an anaconda about to actually have him for lunch.
As long as they're happy, Foss.
That couldn't be happy,
As long
Gary.
as they're happy, it
When they
doesn't matter.
strip down to the
They
birthday
are
suit.
happy with each other. So
When they climb into the rack at night, they must go, my God, what is this? What is going on? Don't forget, Gary, you spend a third of your life in bed, and if it's some people
So
like that...
what?
Well, so they couldn't possibly be
Well, they
happy.
are. Get on
And lucky we just found young Spike here just in an earlier shot with... who was that? Who are those? Oh, we're going
That's Spike back in his Canberra days. If you got something you want to send into Sam's mailbag, here is how you do it. PO Box 800 Richmond, Victoria 3121 or via the internet. sams.mailbag@9.com.au. Next game, Carlton taking on Melbourne. Etihad Stadium on Saturday. The Blues, fifth on the ladder. They belted Port Adelaide last week, 54 points. Favola kicked 6 goals. They've won 6 of their last 7. Fev likes playing Melbourne. He's kicked 16 in his last 3 games. Mitch Robertson, sadly, out with stress fractures. Melbourne, they had a win on the weekend as well. They smashed Fremantle, 63 points. Liam Jarrah kicked 4 goals. Their biggest victory since round 8, 2006. First time they've won all 4 quarters since 2005. Bartram, Miller and Dunn have been omitted. Whelan, Spencer and McKenzie come back into this side. Billy, who's winning, please?
Congratulations to Carlton for making the finals also. Really good effort there. Carlton will win this one. Mark Murphy, he's been a star on ball, but he kicked 28 goals also. So him and Gibbs and Cade Simpson's a very important player. So you think Carlton will win this one because Melbourne can't afford to, guys.
That's right.
Yep, I agree with you, Billy. Carlton to win, they are in great form, and they certainly will make a few teams a little bit nervous come finals time.
There's still a chance for the top four, the Blues, which is a huge effort, and Fev will have a big day out. I can see him kicking 8 or 9, Samuel.
And $8.
Just on those couples, they might have had lovely personalities, and you've got a lot of bad karma coming your way. That's just... You can't treat people like that. That's very ordinary. Bad karma.
Especially bigger
So
people,
you reckon they'd have great personalities, do you?
I think that...
They look as though they'd be whirlwinds, yeah, just in the personality department. Yeah, they look as though they'd be as sharp as a bowling ball, those two.
Who's winning this big game?
Well, you know, $8 I think Essendon were to beat.
Yes.
And that's what... Yeah, thank you, Jim. And that's what Melbourne are to beat Carlton. I don't know, I'm not sure about Carlton. No, I don't think Melbourne will beat them, but I wouldn't get carried away.
All right, I think the Blues are going to be pretty
Yeah,
safe.
no, they will. I think they'll win, yeah.
Now, we mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of retirements at this time of the year, obviously. Some big-name players have hung up the boots. And Russell Robinson did that from the Melbourne Footy Club's point of view. He hasn't retired, in actual fact. He'll play on if someone will pick him up next year. But the big moment is when the players have to front the rest of their teammates. That's when it gets a bit emotional, and we're not privy to it, but these scenes are playing out all over the AFL at the moment. Now, cameras were very fortunate enough to capture Russell Robertson farewelling his Melbourne teammates.
I guess this is a moment that I've been dreading for a long time, most of my life, as it would seem. Round 22 against the Saints will be my last game for the Melbourne Football Club. It's unfortunate that it has to end, but I guess all good things come to an end, and for me, that will be that game. The thing that I'll take with me until I tip off this planet, I reckon, the thing that I'll always remember was winning games of football. It's the thing I remember the most. Gives me that feeling in there, and I've got it right now. It's giving me goosebumps already. It's all said and done, and I consider myself a bit of an expert on it now because for me it's said and done. That's the thing that will give you the most personal pride, because that feeling of walking off the ground, arm in arm, and getting in the circle and singing the song together with heart, loud. Every time it was loud, it was as hard as you could sing. I think that's what I'm going to take forward now and remember the most. So it doesn't matter what happens between now until death. We'll always have that same bond together, and you'll always be my brothers, and I'll do anything for you. The Melbourne Football Club has to find some players now, have to find some young guys, and a byproduct of that is some other guys have to tip off at the other end. Last year it was Whitey and Ooze. This year it's Wheels, Wheatus, and it's me. So it sucks, but it's the way it goes, and that's life. I just can't believe how fast it's gone. And I know you're thinking it's not going to go that fast, but it will. I still feel like a young man. It'll go like that. And I hope that when you get to the end of it, you can stand up here and talk to the boys and just have some memories, think back. And hopefully you got some good memories to take with you, some winning memories. Because that's what it's all about. Enjoy your journey, because I've had the absolute time of my life at this football club. It's given me all the opportunities in life, and like I said, the football club doesn't owe you anything, because it gives you the chance to run out on the MCG and play football in that jumper and experience those feelings that I talked about. That's what the football club gives you. So you owe it to the football club, and I think you owe it to yourselves to get that feeling, because you got a chance and you'll carry it with it for the rest of your life. So, thanks, guys. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Robbo. Been a very, very good footballer. Best and fairest winner. Over 400 goals, 226 games at the moment. Been an outstanding footy player for the Melbourne Footy Club. We wish him well if his career continues on next year. Shut up, Samuel. We're going to go to the next game here. Billy, Adelaide taking on the West Coast Eagles.
Yes, the Crows take on the Eagles, Gaz, and the Adelaide Crows are sixth on the ladder, 12 wins, 8 losses. Very good win over Hawthorn last week. It trailed by 25 points at some stage there. They've just made the one change. Dave McKay comes in, or McKay. Out goes Rory Sloane, who was a bit of a goer last week. He's been dropped. They've been going nicely. 80 tackles last week, and your man Bernie Vince has been on fire. Robert Shirley plays his 150th game. Good work there. And they take on the West Coast Eagles, who are playing some pretty good footy at the minute. They're 12th on the ladder, 7 wins, 13 losses. They've won their last 3 games and going along nicely. Mark LaCra's been a star there with 51 goals for the year. Spanger comes into the side with Ryan Davis, and Brent Staker is back. Out goes Mitch Brown, Maston there out for the year, and Patrick McGinty is ill. You think the Adelaide Crows would have to win this one at Amy Stadium, but West Coast's got a pretty good record there, but I'll stick with the Crows.
Spike?
Yeah, I'll go with the Crows. They won't slow. They will not slow down coming into finals. They're a professional outfit and will beat West Coast easily.
Yeah, got to agree with you there, Spike. I think Adelaide will win and win quite well. And it's great to see Trent Henschel kick 4 goals last week. Horrific run with that knee injury that he had, so it's good to see him back up and about.
I want to ask you a question. I'll do it.
What are you asking?
Because this will be someone you might identify with. This will be in the same brain level as you.
I know you haven't sung the song after many games, Matthew, because you haven't won many, but what do you think you'll say when you retire? What will you be thinking? What will you be thinking of?
You're saying I've got a brain level, and look what you're doing at the moment.
Well, will you give it all that? Will you give it that much? Will you? I'd like to thank everyone for not kicking the ball to me and for me getting the shits with most of you for the whole my career and bagging you and shouting at you and kicking it to me. And
I might apologise for a few things, but I've done a few things right as well, and I reckon I'll get a bit emotional. Samuel, what did you say when you hung them up? You didn't know a few of your teammates' names.
Yes, I did. I pretended.
You were talking to blokes you didn't even know.
Gerald Fitzgerald.
What?
You didn't know Gerald Fitzgerald's name?
Oh, shut up, Bill.
You didn't.
Oh, so I forget one name.
Well, you're the captain. We had to take the umpire around, introduce him to every player, and he comes up and he goes, umpire, this is...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate, I forgot your name.
Sam, who do you think's going to win? Adelaide, West Coast?
Jeez. Oh, I think Adelaide. Well, they're going all right, Adelaide. Yeah, no.
So, West Coast?
Oh, OK, Gary, they're going quite well too. But I think Adelaide are going a bit better, particularly at Amy.
I agree. I think Adelaide are going to win too. Now, we're just going to take a little minute here. We don't get serious very often on this footy show. If you watch this show, you'd understand that. But there's something going on at the moment in footy which concerns us all, and it should concern you at home if you're watching and the people here in the audience. And that is the senseless violence that's going on at junior footy all around the state, and I would imagine all around the country. It is an absolute disgrace. You are a moron if you go to junior football and get so caught up in what is taking place that you lose a sense of yourself and start abusing 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14-year-old kids and 14-year-old umpires. Every day we pick a newspaper up and we see imbeciles who go along to games of footy. This is junior football where kids go to have fun, to go and experience football, have fun with their mates and hopefully have the support of their mums and dads or their uncles. And it culminated in the weekend by this gutless coward running onto the ground and belting a bloke in the head with a mallet. Now, this is at football, junior football, I might add. Now, that is the absolute serious end of the scale, and I hope that bloke gets locked up in jail for 3 years. He was in court today. It's just a disgraceful act. But make no mistake, this is happening at under 10 level, under 11 level, under 14 level. Now, I coach junior footy. It is a magnificent time in these kids' lives. You've got to understand you are embarrassing your son or your daughter if they're playing footy. And you talk about the threats to our game of AFL footy, and it's going to be a big challenge with the Gold Coast and West Sydney, and soccer's coming. This is the biggest challenge right here. Imbeciles who forget who they are and live their lives vicariously through their kids and start abusing people and kids and belting people at junior footy. It's got to stop. We've had enough. We were going to shame people and name them and put photos up. I'm not sure what we've got to do about it, but there'll be grand finals over the next 2 weekends. If you go along, take a deep breath. It's not about you. Don't embarrass yourself, your family, the people you work with. You are ruining it for your kids. That's enough.
Here, Gary. done.
Imbecile, Samuel. Silly people.
Very well done. Absolutely.
Got to stop.
Very, very nicely said.
All right, I got that off my chest. We're going to take a break. Brad Scott, the new coach of North Melbourne, up next on the Footy Show.
My name is Acker and I do like to brag. People up north think I'm a douchebag. Was gonna retire, but I've hit a purple patch. Nothing wrong with me, just my beard and hair don't match. On the weekend, turn the game against Brisbane. How good am I? I'm a freaking magician. Kicked a huge goal, no one will forget. As far as being annoying, I beat Jeff Kennett. Whoever you are, Acker, whatever you do, give Brisbane the shit. Want to see me do a handstand?
Yes, welcome back to the Footy Show. That is part of a competition. Sam's done 3 of them, and a very nice job he's done too. The CGU rap competition. If you think you can do it better than Sam, you should enter CGU. Give yourself a rap. All you need to do is create a 30-second video about yourself or your business. All entries must close with the CGU jingle. Whoever you are, whatever you do, we put the U in CGU. The winner, Sam, will receive 20 grand. And they'll also professionally produce the TV ad, and you could star in your own TV commercial. I think you've seen it down there, cgurap.com.au for more details. Get stuck in.
Well worth doing, Jim. Our next guest has ended up with the North Melbourne coaching job after a celebrated career at the Brisbane Lions, 2 times premiership player, one of the most respected and hardest men in the AFL. He spent the last 3 years as an assistant coach down at Collingwood, and as I said earlier this week, was appointed as coach of North Melbourne for the next 3 years. Please welcome Brad Scott. Welcome, Bradley, and congratulations. 33 years of age, you're just a young man still.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm very fortunate to be given this opportunity so early.
And when did it all come about? I mean, the Richmond job was also up and you're a candidate for that, and then was running parallel with North Melbourne. The process of it seemed to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, it did. Probably quicker than even I expected, but the process was very thorough, and come Monday morning, the club felt it was ready to make a decision and got me in and had a discussion and offered me the job, and I was rapt to accept it.
And just before you go, Jim, just the interview process as well. I mean, what were the sort of things that you had to cover off from a North Melbourne point of view? Were there game scenarios put to you? What was that? Talk us through that.
Oh, there was certainly a lot of game philosophy, but I think North were really interested to find out what I thought of the club, and the other candidates obviously as well. But really the process was driven about what I stood for as a person, what I felt I could bring to the table. So really what I thought I could bring to the table was a very good fit for North, and turned out to be they're a pretty good fit for me too.
What about the sliding doors, Scotty, of what you do? 1 minute you're preparing for a huge 5 weeks, potentially for the Magpies. You are their line coach, and midfield is your area, which has been an unbelievably successful area for the Maggies. Now suddenly you're out of that altogether, and another challenge.
Yeah, it does. It was just Monday morning we were preparing for another assault on Sydney, but now things have changed completely. I'm out of Collingwood now, looking through North Melbourne's list today and going through that in detail. So things change rapidly, but Collingwood's really well placed for the finals. I think their list is very healthy. They're good players, are playing great footy, and I think they're a great chance.
Will they miss you, Scotty? Do you think they... Because I think Collingwood supporters would think they'd miss you. You've been an integral part there, especially during the week and on match days.
Yeah, well, I've invested a lot in the last 3 years, Billy, in the players there and Collingwood, but I think the great thing about Collingwood is they've got great people there. I think they're in great hands, and one of the things about coaching is empowering players, and in the end I think it's about getting the players to do the job themselves. So we've got some really experienced, Collingwood have got some really experienced players in the midfield who can really control that.
If I was running the club, I wouldn't care less what you thought of the club. I'd be more interested in what your philosophy is. You're obviously a career football person. You've been watching and you've played the game. Have you been itching to stamp your imprimatur on this game?
Well, I think all assistant coaches do. I think as an assistant, your job is to really assist the head coach, the senior coach. And now as senior coach, I get to really stamp my authority.
What would you rejig? The way the game's played, do you like the style of the game, or do you think it's become too contrived?
Look, I know a lot of people think that the game's changed dramatically, and it has, but I think the core of the game is still there, and that's contested football. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to win contests, and I want to bring to North a really contested
more
style
toughness.
of footy. Definitely more toughness, but more contested style of footy. If you can't win the ball yourself, then it's going to be difficult for you.
Can we expect you to coach in the manner that you played, Scotty? Because we've got a little bit of vision here, and we admired you enormously for your uncompromising attack on the footy, and you were the ultimate competitor, and that's, I think, what most people in the AFL remember you for. I mean, is this the sort of stuff that becomes absolutely non-negotiable when you get to North Melbourne?
Oh, look, I think you really have got to play to your own personality. I've forgotten that vision.
I heard
Like
you.
a WWF.
But that is your personality, though. You're an aggressive person out on the playing field. I mean, is that what you're going to try and bring to this club?
I think it's really important to be yourself. And look, that's the type of player I was and the things I prided myself on. But I don't think you can go and take a naturally passive person, a very skillful person, and turn them into something they're not. So I'll be coaching the players' strengths and trying to improve weaknesses. But I'm certainly not going to go and try and turn players into the type of player I was.
Yes, Scotty, we saw Darren Crocker on the news tonight saying that he'd like to stay at North Melbourne next year. Have you got people in mind that you want to bring on board with you?
No, not yet, mate. I've really got to assess what North needs. I've got a vision and a philosophy for the club, but I need to assess what's there at the moment and then work out what we need to complement that group. But Croc's someone of great character, and I think he's done a terrific job in very trying circumstances. So I'll sit down with Croc in the next week or so and discuss that.
What about the chief metrosexual here? You went down to his house with his charming wife. Did he beat you around the head fiscally? Was this just was the annual fee or the remuneration, was this a stumbling point?
No, not at all. We didn't even discuss that. It wasn't
Didn't we?
something that was discussed until after the appointment was made. So that's largely irrelevant. It's more that I've been given a great opportunity and a great opportunity to come in and stamp my authority on North.
Did he strike the fear of God in you, Scotty, when he stared you down, did he?
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Scotty, speaking of assistant coaches, one of the questions you were asked was whether you're going to swing your brother in as potentially an assistant under you. How would that go, do you reckon?
Chris has got an outstanding footy brain. He knows the game very well. He's doing a great job at Freo. They've got trying circumstances as well, but he really knows football. He knows what he's talking about. But as I said at the press conference after the appointment, players find it hard enough when a new senior coach comes in, much less telling the difference between the assistant coach and the senior coach.
Scotty, it's going to be unusual for you. You're going to go along and have a look, I reckon. It's St Kilda take on North. So, Richo, why don't you talk us through this, then we'll get Scotty's thoughts on the North side.
Yeah, they do. Massive game this one. The Saints obviously had their first loss last week, and there's a couple of outs there, Ball and Hudson, which is a big surprise to me. In comes Jones, Eddie Gwilt, McWalter and Geary. And for North Melbourne, they have a couple of changes as well. Out goes Harris, Urquhart and Jones. And a lot of ins there, Lower, Gartlett, Edwards, Josh Smith, Watt for his last game, which is fantastic, and Obst. It's going to be a big test for North Melbourne. I don't think the Saints will lose 2 in a row. They actually conceded 100 points for the first time last week, which is amazing, you would think, after 20 rounds of football. I think they'll be too good. I think they will bounce back. It is a surprise that Hodgson's out. Yeah. Hopefully he can get back for the finals. He's been a stalwart of that club. So the challenge is there for him now to get back in.
I think Hutchie might have some news on Max Hudson. What do you do, Brad, with this game? Just go and sit in the outer? You're not going to be in the box at all?
No, I'll just sit in the outer and observe. Croc is very much in charge and he'll run the show for the next 2 weeks.
Before we get the boys' thoughts on this one, Gary, congratulations to Brady Rawlings, who plays game number 200, been a wonderful player for the Kangaroos. As I think Richo just mentioned, Shannon Watt as well, who retires after this game or at the end of the season, and he has also been a terrific player. Bill?
You think St Kilda would win this one? They bounced back from last week's. The Saints, for me, good luck too, Scotty.
Spike?
Yep, I think the Saints, they'll be too strong, and it'll be interesting to see what Luke Ball does at the end of the year. He's been in and out the side, and he's a very good player, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs asking the question what he's up to.
No ball.
Boss, who's winning?
Well, $9, the old Kangaroos. No, the Saints. And Gary, I don't want this to be about me, all right? But this is the only thing, Brad, that's never improved in football is umpiring and kicking for goal. And Nick Riewoldt, who is a magnificent man, it's just about the mind. It's about the mind. I went out while I was doing that extraordinarily humorous piece with Jason Ackermanis, which I think I've won 20 grand
What'd you
for.
do?
I can get it sworn on a Bible. I can get... Rob was out there producing. We had the cameraman audio 40 metres out with him jumping up on the mark straight through. Just 40... Well, 40... This is the first kick I had.
Oh, 40 metres.
And 40 metres.
That's how you win games against Essendon, Nick. As you say yourself, anyone can go out there and kick them a train.
You can't.
I can kick them a train.
You can't kick.
I've
You
kicked
could mark a
800. That's more than you. How many did you kick?
You've missed 1,800.
How many did you kick?
Hey.
How many goals did you kick
Well,
in
I
your
kicked
career?
110 in my whole career.
Well,
But
I've got you by 690.
I played in the ruck. I played in the ruck. I wasn't a career
easy position
forward.
to play. You're just floating around behind the ball.
I may
Go up
well have,
forward and
I may
put your
well
head
have
over.
floated around behind the ball, but when you asked to kick a goal, it's not that
The
hard.
pressure there was massive.
It's a lot of pressure, wasn't
You
there?
could have missed that and played
But
the
I
one you
didn't,
kicked.
Spike.
How do you
That's the
know?
point.
Like that.
How does Tiger Woods miss easy putts when it's the money's on the line? It's pressure, mate.
And it
Well,
would-
yeah,
and
but
you know what? It
Tiger,
would have
man,
been
he's just
touched
won
on the line
84
anyway.
tournament. Pardon?
It would have been touched on the line too. There was
It
someone
might
was on
have
the
been.
line.
The point is, it was straight. It was straight.
Anyway, the North Melbourne coach sitting here. Listening
Listening to you all argue amongst each
Jim,
other.
I could come down and do goal kicking
You
practice.
do a very good job. Now, Brad, one of the reasons that we brought you on board is because we expect you to deliver a little bit of silverware, like happened in 1999 when the Kangaroos won their last premiership, and the reunion is coming up the day before the grand final, Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. All players will be there, and for bookings 9320 2404, including the great W. Carey, who is coming back to town for that one. 1999 Premiership reunion. Get stuck into that if you're a fan of the Kangaroos or if you just love footy.
Just before you let thank Brad, so just your role now, what will your time be taken up with, and when will you actually assume that you wait until the end of the season to take over, and what will you be doing between now and then?
Yeah, my core responsibilities at the moment are really assessing the list and the list management going forward.
How do you see the list?
Oh, look, I think it's very young and exciting. I think it's younger, actually, than I thought it was. When I sat down to really analyse the list, there's a lot of young, exciting talent there. So my role will be in the next 3 years to really extract the maximum out of the available talent.
Now, just very quickly, were you aspiring to take over from Mick Malthouse? And then when Nathan Buckley got the gig, did that make your mindset change?
No, not at all. I think it's very rare that assistant coaches take over from senior coaches unless it's in a time of crisis. So, no, I never had any designs on the senior coaching role at Collingwood, and I think, but Collingwood really I owe a lot to, because I think it's vindication for their program. They develop great people, and it's flattering to Collingwood that they produce potential coaching candidates.
Well, Brad, we are, as I said at the press conference the other day, absolutely tickled pink to have you, and cannot wait for you to walk through the door and get cracking with the North Melbourne Footy Club. Thank Brad Scott for me, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break. On the other side of it, Brendan and Alex Favola are going to join us on the Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. We farewell Bill Brownless. We think he's got some issues with the Prime Minister's office, but we've got a pretty handy replacement. Five-time world record holder. Please welcome him, Shane Crawford. Welcome, Shane.
Very nice to see you all. Now, Sam, I'll be serious. I've done a bit of soul searching during the week, and I'm really, really sorry if I offended you.
You didn't offend me.
I love you.
What?
I love you.
I can understand that, Shane.
Thank you. It's nice.
I can understand you
I've
saying
written you a poem.
I bet it's monosyllabic.
I don't know what that means, but
It means
roses are
words
red.
of one syllable is what it means.
Roses are red. Eggs are white. Contractually, I'm obliged to apologise to you tonight. I'm sorry. Hang on, Gary.
That's it, mate.
Hang on, Gary. Jim.
What?
Don't think you can get away with it tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We will get you. That egg
Yeah.
will get you.
Shane.
These cricketers think they're better than footballers. Not tonight, mate.
Shane,
It is on.
you are not good enough. You are not good enough to
Let me
get
know
me.
when
You
you do
and
it,
your
Shane.
pineapple haircut.
I'm very happy for you to do it, Shane, but I'm just going to give you one final warning. If you suddenly swing the attack onto me or himself,
me.
the hirsute
I
one over here, that's
love
it.
you.
That is it.
Love you, Sam.
Shane,
I'm with
move
you
on.
today.
That was last week.
No,
We've got a whole new show.
Yes, we have hamstring sponsorship tonight. Gary, you're going to love this. This is fantastic. Tonight's sponsor is Bug Zap Pest Control from Mildura. So thank you very much. Do you want to know what the slogan is, Gary? You're going to love this. Do you want to know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a beauty. One ping and it's gone! One ping and it's gone! One ping.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much for sponsoring that competition. And there you go, the Footy Show at 9.com.au. Fantastic. I think that is the best so far. And just before we move on, I had a little bet with Sam last week.
I tell you,
Did we
Shane,
not?
be very
I
careful.
picked the Bulldogs to beat Brisbane up there. And what was the loser? What were they going to have to do?
Oh, is that not the Interpi
I
nasal
have the little Viagra nasal spray. So, at your own time, but before the show is over, please have a good go of that. And all the best.
Sit down. We've got
Sit
lots
down,
to get
Shane.
through.
We're going to have a look at the next game. It involves Richmond and Hawthorn, ladies and gentlemen, on MCG Saturday night. The Tigers horrible last week, 93-point losers to Collingwood. They trailed by 70 points at half-time. The 7th time this has happened in the club's history. All of those since 1989, if you don't mind. Thompson, Simmons, Moore, White and Polak, which is a great story, come in. King, Hislop, Bowden, Vickery and Coughlin are all out. The Hawks haven't won a game for a month. They only managed to get it inside 50 38 times against Adelaide last week. Bailey, Dowler and Milne make their way in. Campbell, Morton and Taylor will not be playing. Congratulations to Luke Hodge, who plays game number 150 for the Hawks. Richo, what do you think is going to happen with this one?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, James. Obviously, the Hawks are still in contention, so they're going to be up and about. We need to bounce back. We've had an ordinary couple of weeks and we need to put a good performance on the board. So, yeah, I think we can put up a better one this week and give the Hawks a shake. Sam?
Yeah, the Hawks will be desperate. They need the win and they'll do it comfortably.
Yeah, good to see Max Bailey, who has had a lot of knee problems, and it's great to see him back. Luke Hodge, well done. And the new book that's been launched today, One for All, the new Hawthorn book. So there you go, you can get that at the Hawthorn Football Club. And I don't know how much it is, but it's a great book.
Some great news for Richmond is Graham Polak back in the side, given the troubles that he's had over the journey. So that is a really uplifting story. But there's been some devastating news down at Punt Road this week as well, Richo.
Yeah, there has, Gary. One of our close teammates and popular player at the club, Kane Pettifer's father, Mick, was tragically killed Sunday in a car accident, and it was shattering for all the boys who have known Mick over the years. He was a larger-than-life character and well-known up around the Kyabram area, a bit of a bush footy legend. So we just want to send out all our love and best wishes to the Pettifer family, and we're thinking of you all.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, well done.
Samuel?
Yeah, well, Shane, about the only sensible thing you've said all year was in the opening program this year when you said Hawthorn were gone before they even started, and you turned out to be absolutely correct. And Jeff Kennett, I think, has single-handedly overseen the demise of that club
Hang on.
No, he hasn't. But he's taken the focus off him for fair proportion of the year.
Hutchie might have some news on that.
No,
as
he's
well.
good. We love him. We would never get him on, but we love him.
We do. Who are you tipping, by the way?
Well, we tip Hawthorn.
Yep, I'm going for the Hawks as well. We've got to move along because now, you talk about books, that's a very nice book. This is a nice book. This is a book called Snapshot, A Portrait of Success.
Coffee table book.
It is a coffee table book of the finest order, and it has been put together by Alex Favola. And she's joined in the audience tonight by Brendan Favola, and they're both here after a big launch of Raheen. Alex, to you, just flicking through this book, what was the inspiration for it? How long did it take? There's the biggest names in Australia here, including our own Fossil, and see Chris Judd's in there, Anthony Mundine, Walter Mikak. I mean, it's a magnificent piece.
Faranga?
Yes, it's come together nicely thanks to all those people that have donated their time, and thank you to the publishers that have been a huge help in pulling it together. But the inspiration was basically wanted to collate some inspirational people and their stories and make it as much of a visual book with the photos as well as a good read. And it's, hopefully inspires people to pursue their dreams.
You did the photography?
I did all the interviews and all the photography, and it's been a big job. It's been a long time coming.
Couldn't quite work Gary and I into the book at all.
You were on the list, actually. We sort of... But we didn't want too many people in football, so...
You were involved in that, Fev, were you?
Yeah, I didn't make it either, mate, so don't worry about it.
See, the old Foss made it. What pearls have we got in there? Finding.
I'll find it. You asked the questions.
What did you find out when you sat down with Samuel over
Well, don't laugh. That's Alex's photography. Don't laugh if you don't like...
I'm not laughing at Alex's photography. I'm laughing at your head. Have a look at
Did you get a better understanding of him during your sit-down fireside
Well,
chat?
there's nothing that I didn't already know, and that was that he was generous and a gentleman.
Parking
And
in the wrong
that's the
spot again,
truth. He was really, really kind. I had to shoot him twice because we had a bit of a weather issue the first time, and I had to ring up and ask again, and I felt awful. And thank you, Sam. It was
Look at that photo.
very kind of
Can we
you.
have a look at that photo again, that last one? Because they put... Who's that one on the left there?
Can we go to the one before that?
Caro. That's Caro. Very
What
nice.
about the one where you parked your car wherever you felt like it?
I'm on top of you, Shane.
Once again, I'll just park wherever I want.
Brendan, you didn't feature in this.
No, I didn't, mate. I said Chris Judd will probably be a better person to have in the book than me. I was pretty much right, but a lot of Photoshop went on Sam's, but we got there in the end. That's probably why the book took so long. But,
well, I was going to go easy on you, Brendan. But
I'm joking.
No, did you inspire your wife to do this?
It was all Alex's idea, and she's had the idea for a couple
Have you ever had any ideas at all?
No, not really. I've got two little kids' books of my own, so that was pretty easy to write for kids. So, yeah, on the same wavelength.
What about this quote here? Surviving the cutthroat media business is my greatest achievement, says the Fossil. I tell you what, bloody hell. That's some riveting gear. Could you have given Alex anything more to work with?
Well, I think we did a lot of... there was a lot of audio, and I think Alex sort of picked out what she wanted to pick out of it.
Don't worry, I think it's fantastic. Alex's photography is magnificent. There you go, the very, very smug-looking Fossil in the... and then we head over here.
What is it? Every time you show my head, that's my head. What are you laughing at? Here,
Delicious.
Here. This is Harry and the Hendersons. Here, over here.
That one there, just before you open the car door. All right, now...
no, look, honestly,
Alex,
it's fantastic.
It is. We have all looked at this in the back. It is a magnificent publication, and you've got something for Gary, I understand.
We have. I don't know where it is, but it's here.
Sam, you need to
Yes,
grab it. It's up the back.
you could be Times International Couple of the Year. Look at you. How are you going, you two?
I'm getting along well.
Now, Gary.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah.
This Paragon. She frightened the life out of you that he's coming to Belgium.
I'll say it. Obviously, Paragon published the book, and as a fundraiser, obviously a great foundation, the Shane Warne Foundation, Paragon and Alex decided to donate $50,000 to the foundation for the book sales. And
Alex, that is great with the cover. I know Shane's overseas, he's back next week, but on behalf of the foundation, that is just unbelievable. We know the great work that the foundation does, but to have that support from yourself is much appreciated, and we love you for it, and it's going to be put to very good use.
Thanks, Gary.
And that is an extremely high-class book.
It is?
Like, not the people, well, the people in it, not including me, but just the way that's set out. It is top shelf.
We urge you to get out and get yourself one of those. It is a magnificent publication. It doesn't matter how much it is, it's worth it.
Well, no, all right.
$39.95.
Let's not worry about how much it is then.
And again, some proceeds go to the Shane Warne Foundation. Alex, yes, go Shane.
Now, before he goes, can you tell us a little bit about that earring you got in there? That looks like it's real. Is it, Brendan?
yeah, it is. There's a bloke, JMS Diamonds, Jason, provides Alex with some jewellery when she goes out to functions.
Is that hers?
Something like that.
And he said to myself, would I like to wear an earring? And I said, yeah, and he pulled it out, and it's $45,000 worth of earring there, so I might lose it tonight.
I'm going to say, someone will cut your ear off when you leave here.
So it's quite big, but yeah, it's all right.
Now, Fev and Alex, big news. You've got
$45,000.
a little one on the way. How's that going, and when are we expecting? And are you healthy and happy and all good?
Yeah, going well. I'm feeling much better now than what I was first few months, but coming along nicely, over halfway now, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's looking good for over halfway, Gary. Bloody hell.
Now, Alex, what can Brendan do around the house to make things a bit better?
Just be home.
Good luck on the weekend, mate, against the Demons. Good luck. We'll see you before the finals. And Alex, to you again, congratulations. It's a magnificent book, and thanks a lot from the Shane Warne Foundation. Alex and Brendan Promoter. All right. Let's head over to Mark McLean now to have a look at our next game. It is Collingwood taking on the Sydney Swans. Spike.
Big game, this one. Outs for Collingwood. Chris Dawes has been omitted, and in comes Jackson Barham, Josh Fraser, who hopefully can come back to some good form before finals, Tyson Goldsack and Steele Sidebottom. If we move over to the Swans, who are certainly out of the finals and got a few injuries. The outs are Luke Ablett with a cork thigh. In comes the retiring Jared Crouch, Nick Malcheski, Kristen Thornton and Patrick Vespremi. So I think the Pies will get up, mate.
It should be a terrific game. How could you not like Collingwood going forward to September? So I'm all over Collingwood. I think they are a serious threat, and I reckon they can nearly go all the way, Richo.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Croc. Saw them obviously first-hand last week, and I think they're the second-best team in the comp at the moment. They're going very, very well, and they're playing the sort of footy that will win finals, so they'll win.
Boss, Samuel?
Yep, yeah, the Collingwood just going great. And that'll be Geelong's first worry in the first week of the finals.
Yep.
But Sydney, not bad either, but Collingwood going well.
Yeah, they're going better than that, aren't they? They're flying, going well. They'll win this one, I think, the Sydney Swans. Now, we're going to break. Collingwood. Sorry.
Come on, Gary.
Street talk coming up now. Craig Hutchison as well. The reason he's so late is he's still out there. We believe Ken Hinkley's still speaking to the Richmond Footy Club. We're going to give you the very latest on the Richmond coaching job up next on the Footy side.
It's really pathetic. They've only had, they being St Kilda, only had one loss and everyone's gone overboard, including us. Let's ask the folk in Ackland Street if they'd like to sign the card.
Oh, lovely. You barrack for St Kilda or which one? Which one do you barrack for, sir?
Sir, I'll be doing the questions.
Yeah, OK.
Oh, Jesus. Sam Human.
Sam Human, remember that?
Not Human.
Everybody remember that.
This one.
Yeah, my son's favourite player.
Who is he?
St Kilda. I don't know his name.
I'll give you his name. You see if you can give me his initials. Nick Revolt.
Nick Greenwald.
What are his initials?
Oh, sorry.
No, no. You've been overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when did you come? When did you come back?
To Mauritius.
Yeah. When did you come back to Melbourne from Mauritius?
In next month.
Yeah, you came back next month. All right, Dale, whatever that means. No, I know. His name's Nick Rewalt. What are his initials? It was just a joke. I thought you'd...
Okay.
What are his initials?
G.
NG, of course.
NG.
Yeah, darling.
One of my dreams getting on football, mate.
What are your dreams?
Yeah, I just...
Well, it might be a nightmare.
Another couple of cans, we might have had a better conversation.
Well, sir, go and buy this man some drinks. Come back when you're pissed.
I've got one here.
The man's just brought a traveller out of his skyrocket.
Charles, Scotty, Lynn. My sister's Vera Lynn.
Vera Lynn.
Your sister's Vera Lynn.
That's right.
Bullshit. Now, look, do you know what's happened?
Yes, we lost the game yesterday.
OK, now, yeah, not yesterday, but... Now, are you disappointed?
Yeah, I am, but the bubble had to burst sooner or later.
That's correct. Now, sir, now that you've wound yourself up, what does your missus really think of me?
She won't even speak about you, mate. It's just something arsehole, really.
OK, well, just before he has too many more drinks, sir, we'll wind this up. Right. So do you ever speak to Vera about St Kilda? Have you told her about their recent loss? They lost the game to Essendon.
Now, can I ask you honestly, what he comes out with?
Let me try that.
That's how Geelong lost last year's grand final with too many one-pointers.
They're giving Geelong a bit of a slagger now,
Yeah, I am, of course. You used to play for them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you play in any premierships?
No, not a lot, sir.
I didn't play in one, so I can't
You and me both. We didn't play in any. You got me there.
Not at all, but all of it, I love it.
She thinks I'm her dog.
You always used to come here. Yes, but you haven't seen for long.
Thank you, Dale. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ben.
No, I like it. Don't worry. That's about how well I'm going. Please stroke me, do anything you like to me.
Oh, wow.
So you're not really sure if she's alive, are you?
If you could find out, I'd be very happy to know that part of it. But I think
so is this man Vera Lynn's brother?
Yeah.
And is she still alive?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, you should have told him so.
No, she's got a house and she looks after all the animals, dogs and cats.
There you are.
There you are. See, I didn't know that, now we...
I'm St Kilda. I
Yes.
had a bet yesterday, 2-1. If I lose, I have to bear my ass.
To whom? To whom,
At
Dale?
the King of Tonga.
What the what, Dale?
King of Tonga.
The King of Tonga's in Melbourne?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, would he want to see your ass?
Uh-huh.
That tells me back on all the youngsters are, you see. And I watch the ripe bananas where they grow. Boom. The only done is yelling. That's how I earn my living.
Tell us what you would have done if you'd been Nick Rewalt to kick the ball straight. Think about it. I can see you look like the thinker. You know, that statue, the thinker that goes like...
I think with the left hand.
You're thinking with the left hand, are you? Jesus. Hang on, the siren's gone. Righto. OK. All right, you stay with your legs together, would you? Yeah. Always safe to do that, Dale.
Yeah. Go back and then straight through. Bring your leg through.
That's it. Yeah. I think that's it. I think he didn't lean back. He leant forward over it.
1, 2,
Go on.
3.
That's
Lovely.
it. We're going to get that. We're going to immortalise that on celluloid and show Nick.
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, I do like to live beside the sea. I do like to walk along the prom with the brass band going tiddly-om-pom.
Good job. Oh, shit. Hi, Mum.
As we fade into the sunset, we say farewell to all those who remember Dame Vera and a long lost and departed brother who is here and doesn't know she's still alive. And all the best to you from Balham, gateway to the south. This is the card, guys. Sorry, this is a bit quick. This was the card. We got all those people signed it. And that's it there. And incidentally, the woman who said she had to bear her ass to the King of Tonga, the King of Tonga is a pub. I thought the King of Tonga was actually a bloke. But she's going to bear her ass at the King of Tonga. Where? So you don't have to hurry. You won't have to get a front seat because you'll be plenty to see. So that's what she's doing. If we all want to see her rort, get down to the King of Tonga. It'll be a spectacle.
That is a ripping little bar in Elwood, owned by Stevie, who used to be in Chances. One of my favourite shows growing up. He was. He's an actor and a very, very good man. Now, speaking of good men, we're going to head out to catch up with Craig Hutchison, ladies and gentlemen. First time tonight. He has been on the case finding out the absolute latest on the Richmond Footy Club coaching job. Hutchie, where do we find you and how are things travelling?
Well, good evening, James. A 4-hour meeting between Ken Hinckley, one of the favoured candidates of the Richmond coaching position, and 10 members of the Richmond hierarchy ended just moments ago with an obvious statement on the way out from the Richmond Power Brokers that they'd yet to make a decision on the coaching position. Nevertheless, it was a marathon 4-hour hearing, the second time that Ken Hinckley had met the Richmond hierarchy. Brendan Gale, the incoming CEO, among those in attendance tonight. Hinckley was grilled at length tonight. He's seen as one of the favoured 2 or 3. There are 4 candidates still left in this process, though. Alan Richardson very much still alive. Damien Hardwick, we'll talk about him in a moment, and Jade Rawlings also still alive in the process. We won't probably now have a decision until the middle of next week, James. It's even a possibility that the final 2 candidates, and 2 will be handpicked to go before the full board of the Richmond Football Club. So an exhaustive and very professional process. Ken Hinckley was whisked out underneath a short time ago, but he's had his hearing and it was a 4-hour session.
Archie, there was some suspicion that Ken Hinckley might even be named as early as today or tomorrow. I mean, they're almost saying it's a fait accompli. You're saying that's not the case?
Yeah, I don't believe it to be the case. It's hard to say what happened in the last 20 minutes, but certainly as the Richmond officials left just 5 minutes ago, they said absolutely no decision had been made on the coaching position just yet, Gary. So I think he's $1.18 at some betting agencies, which is a little bit short for mine. A long way still to go in this process.
And some options for Damien Hardwick, Hutchie.
Well, the Port Adelaide's an interesting one. The Port Adelaide offer we can tell you about tonight is a 2-year term as senior assistant coach and then a 3-year term as senior coach. So Port Adelaide have made a 5-year play for Damien Hardwick. It stacks up semi-attractively against this Richmond opportunity, particularly if it doesn't go his way. He's one of 4 vying for this, and just maybe that 5-year offer, which includes 3 years as a succession plan to Mark Williams, could be an attractive alternative. And just maybe he might consider that over the course of the weekend, but particularly if he has to wait until Wednesday or Thursday of next week to find out if he's the Richmond coach. Not necessarily wrapped with the North Melbourne process in the end, I don't think, Damien Hardwick. It didn't go his way, James, and sources close to Hardwick say that he would have liked to have at least met you during the process. So it'll be interesting to see what Rainey pulls next.
Ooh. Backhander for you, Jim.
Most people like meeting me, Gary.
All right, so Hardwick has been offered the senior coaching job after the next 2 years of Mark Williams' reign. That is interesting. What about Hawthorn?
Well, Hawthorn, of course, would let him go, Hardwick. I don't think there's any doubt about that, despite the fact he has 1 year to go of a contract. Hawthorn want answers on their season, though, Gary. They've fast-tracked their end-of-season review a month. So the board meeting this Monday night will include their end-of-season football review, an aggressive one, and the coach, the head of football and the head of list management have been asked to explain what went wrong by the president, Jeff Kennett himself. So Hawthorn getting very proactive for 2010 and a sign that they give themselves little to no chance, it seems, of making the finals in 2009.
And we teased earlier that you may have some news on Max Hudson, Hutchie.
Out of the side tonight, he's very dejected and disappointed, as you'd suspect, from Max Hudson. A very emotional man. He told friends today he couldn't believe he'd been dropped and faces a challenge, obviously, to get back. Look, there's plenty of great matchups for him in the finals, but it's not a great side to be out of in round 21.
Yeah, Hutchie, it's Richo here, mate. I hope it's nice and cold out there.
Good, Archie. Nice work, mate. We'll see you back in the studio next week. Thank you, mate. Brisbane take on Port Adelaide Saturday night at the Gabba. The Brisbane Lions 7th on the ladder, 11 wins, 8 losses. Went down to the Dogs by 18 points. Winless from their last 3 matches, the Brisbane Lions. 2 losses and a draw. Justin Sherman's been in some very good form. One change, Tim Noddings omitted. Matt Austin comes into the team. They take on Port Adelaide, who have been a massive disappointment, but Still a chance to make the 8, believe it or not. Lost to Carlton by over 10 goals. Their 7th loss by over 40 points. They've lost 3 of the last 4. Burgoyne, Carr, Westhoff and Salopek all out of the side. Motlop, Solder, Surgeon and Thurston's in. Quickly, who's winning?
Brisbane will win.
Yep, we'll be barracking for Brisbane, so they'll win.
Brisbane.
Yep. I am going for Brisbane as well. Now, we spoke about the Shane Warne Foundation massive lunch on Sunday week at Crown. Lovely way to round off the season here. We're all going to be there. Shane Warne will be back from the Ashes. He'll also be there. Go to TS, that's the ShaneWarneFoundation.com.au for all the details. Only 3 or 4 tables left. We would love to see you down there. A break. Almost Footy Legends up next on the Footy Show.
It's the latest craze that's sweeping the nation. Almost football legends. Cue the fat man.
Here we are, back at the Footy Show. And we'll go almost Footy legends straight into it, Richard. What are you
Let's
doing?
go. Just admiring your hair.
Yeah, piss
Looks
off.
good.
Let's have a look at Spotswood versus Hoppers Crossing. Have a look at this banana goal here. Beautiful from the boundary. This is Luke Theodore. Oh, very nice, Lukey boy.
And the next one up...
Hang on.
Right. Next up, we have Uni Blues versus Marcelin. Uni Blues, Andrew Loco. Jezelicko.
That's a winner.
Oh, that's a winner. And wait for the third one. A pair of show-offs here. Have a look at this here. Couple of... Oh, that's not bad. There we go. Nice little flick up. His mate comes along. Loses and surely kicks a goal. Which one did you like, Richard?
I like the last one.
Righto. What the crowd like? Number 1? No one. Number 2?
Yeah.
Number 3? Congratulations to Lockie Whiting. You've won this.
Thanks to Crazy John's, your mobile experts, our weekly winner takes home a brand new phone from the huge range of phones at Crazy John's. While our 2 runners-up get $500 cash courtesy of our good friends at Crazy John's. And the major prize winner at the end of the year takes home the multi-award-winning Nissan Navara STX Dual Cab 4x4 with a powerful 126 kilowatt turbo diesel engine, a massive 3,000 kilograms brake towing capacity, and unique utility-track load restraint system. Valued at more than $47,000. Nissan Navara is tough at work, hard at play.
Fantastic prize there, and send your entries into Almost Footy Legends, PO Box 800, Richmond, Victoria 3121. Back to you, Shane Crawford.
Yes, the next match we look at is, I'm not really sure, Freo and Essendon. There it comes. And we look at the Fremantle side. Out goes Solomon. He's out for the rest of the year. He's hurt himself. In comes Pearce, Walters, Ballantyne and Hayden. They were dismal last week. So disappointing. We look at the Essendon side. They're up and about. Beat St Kilda last week in a terrific win. A few players out. Out goes Dempsey and Ryder, but in comes Danaher, Hocking, Jeddah, Winderlick, very good player, and Hooker. So I think Essendon will win. If they're switched on, they should win over there.
Spike, I see Dean Solomon's out for the rest of the year. You going over, and are you going to stay over?
Oh, Gary, that's very
I am on the first flight out of Perth after the game.
A couple of frothy.
Who's winning, Richard?
I think Essendon win, got a lot to play for, and Spike 36 and a goal last time. Can you duplicate that again?
Ooh.
Yes, I'd like to. I haven't had the numbers for a while, but I'd like to. But Sam, I want you to show us how you would prepare for kicking a goal under pressure, and what's your thought process? Get up and show everyone.
50,000 people just bearing in on you.
Goal after the siren, you've got to kick it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matthew, this is so, I don't know what you think of, obviously nothing. You've got the process, or you hold the ball, but the main thing is to be excited with an opportunity to succeed rather than thinking that you're going to fail. That's your problem. You think, Jesus, I can't kick this. There's no way I'll kick this. Just think, this is exciting. I'm going to succeed. And you just line it up and you just kick it. I don't know if you... Spike.
If you had a theodolite, do you know what a theodolite is? That was 1 millimetre offline. That was exactly the way it was meant to go.
Great kick, Foss.
That is
Beautiful
brilliant.
kick. Yeah, sit ye down and tell us who's going to win.
Sit ye down.
It's great how you hit the
You see the ball as an opportunity to fail. You've got to see it as an opportunity to succeed.
Who's winning, Foss?
I actually reckon, Spike, I reckon the Dockers will beat Essendon.
Well, on what grounds do you say that?
On the Subiaco ground.
Gary?
I think the Dockers are going to beat you too.
Yes, well done.
Gary, Jim, it's time. It's time to be got.
Yes.
You are a very arrogant man, and it's time for you to cop it.
Where did you go? Well, you knew that was happening, didn't you? All right.
Custard!
You
You throw like a girl. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
You are a foolish man.
I didn't do that.
Oh, didn't you?
Some big
What, you
chicken
knew that
flying
was
over the
gonna
top.
We are, ladies and gentlemen,
You will never win. You will
Gonna
never defeat us.
our final break of tonight. And after that, we're going to wrap up. And this is the last you'll see of me. I'm gone. You are foolish.
Yes, welcome back to the Footy Show. About time James Brayshaw copped a little bit. I know he's still got one egg left, so I'm just up here with my people, Jim.
What are you doing up there?
Just up here with the
You
folk.
are a coward.
And we're very happy that you got
Turn
egg,
around.
and all of us think you're a poof. So there you go.
That could be the new Ed Hardy coat.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, from up here, round of applause for the panel. Shane Crawford. Spike as well. Good luck. Well done to...
Very good, Shane.
Keep it going to Sam and James and everyone else. And we'll see you next Thursday night, 9:30. Good night.